Hey everybody, Shawn here. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Revv Amplification Generator 740 amp. It's a 40 watt amplifier. It's 6V6 tube driven, which are some of my favorite power tubes. Now you can switch this amp down to 7 watts if you'd like, and that can be done per channel. And speaking of channels, it's a 2-channel amplifier. You've got a clean channel and a gain channel. On the clean channel though, you do have a crunch setting, which is really cool, which essentially turns this amp into a 3-channel amp. So let's get right into looking at the controls really quick. I've got a lot to cover, so I'm going to try and move as quickly as possible. On the clean channel, which is channel 1, you've got volume, bass, middle, treble, and crunch gain, which I had mentioned before. On channel 2, which is essentially your gain channel or your lead channel, you've got volume, bass, mid, treble, and gain. Now there's quite a few switches on this amp, and they're all very intuitive and easy to use, and I'll go through those as I do sounds on the amps. And speaking of sounds, I'm going to basically change everything from the front control panel for demo purposes. This amp does come with a really great foot switch that allows you to switch between the 2 channels. As well as the modes on the 2nd channel. You also have an effects loop switch that's going to allow you to bypass your effects loop, which is an awesome tube buffered effects loop. And you also have a mute setting, which is really cool if you just want to mute the whole amp in tune or do whatever you need to do without making noise. So yeah, let's get right into sounds. So what you heard at the top there was the channel 1 clean setting. Really nice kind of Fendery clean sound. I've got it dialed up to break up just a little bit. These pickups are fairly hot. So that's like a back humbucker breakup, and it breaks up really sweet in that setting. Now you can dial it to be cleaner. I like it to be slightly broken, but it just depends on how you want to dial the amp. So that's almost no breakup. And once again, it just depends on what guitar you're using. We can go to a full humbucker setting in the neck. And that's still pretty darn clean. So that's the clean setting. Now if you want to go to a crunch setting within the same channel, this switch here allows you to do that. You can choose between channel 1, the crunch setting, and channel 2. So let's go ahead and turn on the crunch setting by hitting the switch up. And you can see the amp turns to green to show you that you're in the crunch setting on the clean channel. And we can adjust the amount of crunch. If we really wanted to get more crunchy, we can turn up the crunch gain. Now if you want that setting to be a little bit brighter, what's cool is, say you loved like maybe a darker clean. So on your clean setting, you've got your treble kind of turned down. But when you go to your crunch setting, you want it to have a little bit more bite without changing your treb setting. Well, you can turn on the crunch bright switch, and that's going to give you a little more top end. So just in that channel, you've got a ton of tones. Okay, so that's the clean channel. Let's move on to the lead channel, and you can do that same way. We'll just hit the switch down. Everything's turning red now, which is really cool to let you know that you are indeed on the in the lead channel. And what I'm going to do is start with basically the aggression mode, and I'll get into that, off, and the contour and all the different kind of EQ and gain settings off. And we'll just start with the basic kind of lead channel sound. Okay, so that's the first setting in the lead channel. And of course we can kind of balance the volume with the clean channel. Turn it up a little bit. So it already sounds great, but you've got so many features. Now what's really cool is what I'm about to show you. You can do from the front panel, but this is also foot switchable. So it almost turns this thing into a couple more channels within just channel 2. So here's, once again, just the aggression switch off, just channel 2. Now I'm going to turn on the aggression switch, which is going to give you just a little bit more gain, but it also kind of changes the way the frequencies are laid out. You're going to hear a little bit more low end as well. So what you're hearing is more gain for sure, but you're also hearing a little bit more low end, and that top end kind of changes just a little bit as well. And now we'll go to the red aggression setting, which is going to be slightly more gain, not a lot, but it is going to kind of shelve everything up just a little bit. But at the same time, I hear more low end. So check this out. Very cool feature on this amp, and that is foot switchable, which is great. So now what I'll do is let me shut the aggression off completely. I'm going to turn on the contour so you guys can hear that. Now what that contour switch is doing is it's, to me, to my ears, it's shelving everything up slightly. There's a little bit more top end there, but it's also kind of more 3D, and in a track, especially taking solos and things like that, it's a really nice feature to have. Now, of course, that contour switch can be turned on with any of the aggression modes. That can only be done from the front panel, but the aggression stuff can be done from the foot switch, which is so cool. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the contour off, and let's check out the bright switch and the fat switch. There's so many great features on this channel. Say you're digging your treble, but as you turn up the treble, You may really like that for your crunch sounds, but maybe it's kind of the wrong top end, like on a session for a solo tone. So what you could do, if you like, is keep it down, set a little bit lower, because right there it still sounds pretty cool, but you just want a little bit more top end. This is where the bright switch can come in really handy. Or if you want it to really bite, you know, if you really dig top end crunch, it's killer for that as well. It's just a really nice feature to have on this amp, and it's voiced just right. When you turn on the bright switch, it doesn't tear your head off. It works really well. Now on the other side of that, you've got a fat switch. And I use that for my Telecaster stuff, and I think I turned it on for the Strat solo on the song. And once again, I really dug it because if you want your mids down a little bit for a certain sound, but you'd like your solo tone to be a little bit fatter, then you can throw that switch over and turn on the fat setting, and it really sounds great. So this amp is just incredibly versatile. The last thing I want to show you is the power switch that's going to allow you to switch between 7 watts and 40 watts, and that's per channel. So on the second channel, just to show you really quick what happens is I won't change any settings. I'll just throw the power switch. And you can do the same thing on the clean channel. Now there's all kinds of things you can do with switching capability like this. It's not just about, you know, having an amp that can run at 7 watts. It just depends on what you want. Like for me, that sound is actually really cool to have more of a power section breakup. I mean, it's a lot quieter, obviously. But if you're wanting more of that really sweet power amp breakup, that's one reason to use it besides just having the amp run softer or at bedroom levels. It's a really great feature, and it's foot switchable. Programmable between the two channels. So you could have channel 1 be, you know, efficient 40 watts. You switch to channel 2, you could have that be 7 watts because you want to be able to dime the actual volume of the channel. So now that's more like power amp breakup and less preamp breakup. So the sky's kind of the limit with this amp, and how you can adjust it between all the different settings. Yeah, just really versatile, really well thought out amplifier. So if you've got any questions, go to the Revv website and check it out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out my videos, and I'll have more to come soon. Thanks, guys.